could you just tell us about this season, mentally, emotionally, how hard it's been, and especially when you're in a team that is struggling. You got your fans and your footballers. That there's always been this sort of fans have always looked up to footballers, but the coronavirus is a real leveler. It shows that you're human. Everyone is worried about it, but when also results aren't going so well, how psychologically, how tough is it as a footballer?
Yeah, mentally it is quite draining. I think I remember being with 6-1 up at Bolton with half an hour to go, and I remember just thinking, just there's nothing. The game's done. Just blow up. There's no fans there. There's nothing. There was no atmosphere, and I think a few of certainly my concentration went, and I found it really hard once they got the second goal. I found it really hard to get it back because there was nothing. There was no emotion in the game. The game was done. And I found that really hard. And I think with no fans, it is really difficult to keep your concentration for 90 minutes because it is just like a training ground game. And the teams at the top of the league have obviously adapted better than the teams at the bottom. And it is a real leveler. But then you're going home to your families who, like my wife, who we've just had the little boy, she's not been out of the house for 6-7 months. So there's people like that as well that you forget. And almost coming into football, it is a bit of a relief because it's the only bit of normality that you get in the current world. So we're lucky to be coming in and lucky that the PFA are going to fund the testing and things like that. So that is a relief that you're not taking things back to your family. But it's a real tough time for everyone mentally, and hopefully we on the pitch can provide a bit of positivity for the people of Port Vale.
It's relentless though, isn't it? And especially when things are going well, that's great. You just want those games. And when things aren't going so well, like at the moment with Port Vale, it feels like you are stuck in a rut. So that must also come with its own pressures and its own stresses as well.
Yeah, it's like sometimes when we concede a goal, you're just thinking, oh, whatever, like you can't say it, but all the fans are going to be watching on iFollow. They're going to be hammering us and things like that. And it is a difficult one, but that's football, and that's why I think the experienced players are mentally stronger than perhaps some of the younger ones that haven't had to deal with that throughout their careers. And certainly when I went up to Aberdeen, I found the level of expectation a lot more than what I was used to. I've gone from playing in front of 2,500 a week at Cheltenham to 18,000 a week at Aberdeen, and the demand and the expectation on you was something that I really struggled with. And I think that's helped me coming back to when I went back to Wickham and Cheltenham and here. I think that's helped me massively because you can deal with that pressure, that expectation, and you can back your ability and come through it.
Well, having said all that now, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit now and sort of say the responsibility of the players now. What responsibility do you have to take? Not you individually, but as collectively, what do you have to take moving forward now? Obviously, John Askin, Dave, Kevin have gone, and now Danny Pugh's in caretaker charge. So what responsibility have you got to him and the football club?
First of all, to the football club. We're very privileged to play for Port Vale, and we realised that. And I think last Friday, I was walking with my little boy on Friday afternoon just to get him out of the house. And we were walking along an old railway track, and two elderly people, they walked past, and this is in Wolverhampton, and they had Port Vale hats on. One had a Rudgy flat cap on, and I just stopped them. I said, "Sorry to ask, is that a Port Vale hat?" And they was like, "Yeah." And it turned out that they were season ticket holders sat behind the goal for 20, 30 years. And I was just like, wow, people who don't know about Port Vale do not realise what a big club it is and how wide the fan base is and how lucky they are to play for the football club. And I think we need to realise that and realise the responsibility that we have, that we play for Port Vale, and we are a big club in this league, and we should not be 5 points off the bottom two. We should be a lot higher up the league, and that's our responsibility as players to get us back up the league.
So you recognise that, like you say, younger players perhaps coming through don't quite recognise it yet. So how do you bring all that together? How do you use your experience and pass that sort of message on down to those players that maybe do need to see it as more important than perhaps how they think it is?
It's a difficult one. I think at the end of the day, we need to forget about looking at the table. Look at the bottom. Look how close we are to the bottom. There's teams that have just look at the bottom of the league. That's where really. The reality is, at the moment, we are in a relegation fight, and that's what we need to think of. As horrible as it sounds, that's where we are. we might only be 9 points off the playoffs, but at the minute, the run we're on, we need to stop the rot, and that's what everyone needs to go into the game tomorrow thinking, yep, this is a bit of a relegation battle, and we need to win this game to get away from the bottom two.
That's fine for me. Thank you, Scott.